Coach Inouye led her Anteater women to their first 20-win season since Ronald Reagan was president. And this team is poised to contend for both a conference tournament title and an NCAA tournament berth. And Tamara Inouye joins us now. Coach, thanks so much for joining us. And I'm excited to see what your program's up to, because I know that it seems like every year since you've been here, Anteater basketball continues to get better and better, and now, you know, the expectation is a lot of success, and I know that that's something that you probably enjoy a lot.
Yeah, I mean, taking over immediately, it was a rebuild. We knew that, and that's what Izzy brought me here for. I think we're going in the right direction. You know, my staff has done a fantastic job of bringing in good players. It's just about putting them together. So, yeah, the goal is to improve every year and get better and better and better, and I think, you know, we're getting there. We only lost 2 seniors last year, and Andy Ritter and Sabrina Ingolstad. Picked up 6 new ones, so I think we're in a good position.
As you get a chance, I know that, you know, we're taping this before your season actually gets started, but going through summer and spending time in the fall getting ready for the beginning of the season, what are your impressions on your team to this point?
We're great. You know, it's like half and half. We're half veterans, half young. Yeah. So, you know, I think the leadership that we're having right now, especially with Lauren Psyche coming in and really setting the tone with our team, is really good for our freshmen. And to be able to have all the juniors and seniors making sure the tone and culture are set, we're falling in line pretty fast. You know, we were lucky enough and had a great experience in Japan this summer, which was a great thing for our team in general altogether. Yeah. So it's nice. It's nice to see. We got a little bit of a snapshot beforehand, and I like what I see so far.
I read the blog. I was keeping up with what the Anteater women were doing in the Japan trip. But fill us in. What's a trip like that like? Like, what are some of the big benefits of doing something like that?
The biggest value, basketball-wise, is we get to practice, get full practices before we go, and actually get some games in the summertime against other competition, which is invaluable. As far as what else it can bring, you know, it just allows this team to be able to go to the country and expose themselves and see great things. We definitely didn't do the charter route. We definitely got in with the people and saw a lot of things, but I think is really important for these young women to be able to actually have them sign up for passports and get out of the country for the first time. It's really rewarding and fun to watch and see how grateful they are and how much they really, you know, can see for themselves to travel once they graduate, which I hope for.
I know that for the men last year, they did that trip to Korea, and it kind of felt like, talking to those guys, that the season started way early for them, and then by the time you're kind of in November basketball, it's not feeling like it's the start of the season. It feels like you're in mid-season. Do you expect to see any kind of benefit like that?
I mean, if we do anything like the men, I would be very happy with that. You know, we're battling some injuries right now, so I think, you know, we are still starting fresh again. Of course, that experience we had there, they can remember that, go back to it. But I think we're gonna start like everybody else.
Let's talk about some of your players, because you got one in particular, Jordan Sanders, who's one of the top 5 returning scorers in the country for this season. I know there's a lot of expectation, a lot of hype about her, and I think rightfully so, because she has proven that she is one of the premier players, not just in this league, but I think people will take a notice all across America.
Yeah, she's only a junior. You know, the big thing about Jordan, just coming out to a mid-major program, she had BCS offers, but to believe in our vision and believe in what we're doing here and come here, you know, you can be as great as you want anywhere you go. And I think she understands that and can do this at Irvine. She's definitely putting us on the map and getting the work in. It's not by any means genetics. It's her hard work she puts in. She stays back in the summer. She came in as a freshman, came for first session, and has come every year since. She's dedicated. She gets in the gym. She gets in the weight room. She's doing what she wants to do to make sure her game is ready and her teammates are ready.
I would imagine as a coach, when you have your star player who is one of your hardest workers, gosh, that resonates with everybody else. Sure. And how big is that advantage to everybody else kind of be able to say, if Jordan's doing this, I guess I better put in the time.
Absolutely. I think with Jordan doing that, you know, she's definitely had some of her classmen, you know, come back early, like Lex Seaton came back early this summer. You know, Talia Garza stayed all summer. I think it's a big thing. It's a big thing to see that and see the improvement that Jordan has had. And she's got a lot more improving to do. And to see what our juniors now are doing as well. She's definitely been a culture setter for that in that aspect. You know, and it's performance. The performance she's been able to do, like I said, it's not because she's just naturally gifted. It's literally the reps she puts in.
Yeah, we talked about Lauren. We talked about Jordan. Maybe who are some of the other players this year that we should be keeping an eye on for your team?
I mean, all of them really. You
Yeah.
know, I think for the class we have, Yazzie Sadula, we forget a lot about, but she is out there leading our team on defense, making sure we understand what's going on. She is a coach's dream. She knows everything that you say, and she retains it. So she'll be a senior that comes in right away. Lex Seaton is something I mentioned right now. First 2 years she didn't play much, but she's put the work in and really has figured it out. Game has slowed down for her. She's doing a great job so far. Haley Talbert, junior as well, come in, workhorse. Just an absolute workhorse and really lifts and keeps our level at a high intensity. We have Diana Guglielmo and Talia Garza coming from Archbishop Midi. They've come in together and only have improved, and I think that they're ready. Those are all my junior class,
Yeah, and as a whole, I mean, we talked about the 20 wins last year, and it's great, and the improving every single year. But it's getting that next step, right? It's winning a Big West championship. It's getting to the NCAA tournament. What's it going to take for this group this year to get to that level?
Yeah, I think 40 minutes, we've got to put a full game together. I think we learned our lessons last year in conference where we didn't put a full 40 and we lost games. I think we need to understand we have the depth this year. We're going to have 13 deep this year. I think all 13 can play, and they have to step up and play for 40 minutes.
Especially in the Big West, having covered this conference for 7 years now and seeing a lot of other teams, not many teams can go 13 deep. That's a huge advantage.
Yeah, it's something that I think it's fun. We recruit players to play, not sit. I think every coach does that. But we expect them to do that, and I think that they understand that, and they get in the gym and they do their work. So I think you'll see it in Lex this year as far as one of the players that has done that as a freshman and sophomore, didn't play much. But, right now she's pinned as a starter, so I think that's a big thing that we do here.
What kind of goals do you set for this team? Because I know everybody else, they can talk about all the goals they want and talk about championships and all this and that. But internally, what are some of the things that you want to see from this team?
I just think improvement is the biggest thing. I think, rebuilding is not easy. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
I think improvement is what we want to do. We really model ourselves and look at the men, see what the men do here. And there's no reason why we can't either. So I think for that, but for me, it's always a championship. It always has been, always will be. If I don't want a championship, I don't think I should be coaching. So that's exactly what we want, exactly what we want to do. But we understand it's a process.
Sure. All right. Let's talk about the schedule for a second, because you guys are open a really tough game up at Oregon State. But again, looking in non-conference, there's a lot of tough games again on your schedule, all to get ready for the Big West regular season play. Is that kind of what you guys are looking for? Is that what you're striving for when you're setting the schedule for the year?
Yeah, sure. I think we're in a position now where we can schedule big. So I scheduled 4 BCS programs. I think that's a lot,
Yeah.
But it's good for us. I think for our young ones and our veterans. I think, players don't want to just play a schedule that they just get wins off. We want to get better. We want to be prepared for season. And I think the 4 BCS programs we're playing are going to be good for us. Non-conference is going to be tough, but I think the tougher we play, the more experience and the better we'll be ready for March.
I know that just by knowing you, Tamara, it's that kind of energy that you give every day, and I know that you make things sometimes tough on the players, but it makes them better. Yeah. Do you feel like in the schedule there's some of those same kind of philosophies, like, hey, these are going to be tough games, you might not win them all, but you really can get better and go as it goes on and use that as a goal?
Absolutely. I think you got to play the best to be the best, and I think playing Oregon State in the WNIT, that's a standard that we set, and last year we played Oregon and got our butts beat. That's okay. That's the standard they're set. Like, if you want to be at the top, you got to play the top, and I think that's a good thing for us.
You mentioned being the WNIT. Do you consider that to be like a big honor to be in that?
I think it's huge. Irvine's never done it before. I think to get that invite, we're being recognized, and I think it's a test to our players and how hard they've been playing. To get that recognition is something that I think they deserve. They deserve, and we're going to do it.
If your team is going to be in the NCAA tournament and is going to win a Big West championship this year, what's it going to take for this group to get there?
A lot of patience by me and a coaching staff. But, I think it's really in the hands of the players. Like, I think with the veteran team that we have, it's really in charge. I'm a big for me, I want my players to really buy in and do it. And I think they can do that. I'm just a big fan on the sideline, just encouraging and being a cheerleader. So I think I got the team that can do it. They just have to want to do it.
Tamara, congratulations on all the success to this point, and I can't wait to see this team. I think that there's a lot of reason to have high hopes and high expectations for this group. So I think it's going to be a really fun year, and thanks for the time today.
Awesome. Thank you.